Okay.
Okay, that's that. Let me get a link going.
Hmm. Yay.
Hey everyone, sorry about that. We had a little internet decided to go down for a couple of minutes there. We're going to just go ahead and go over what we covered at the beginning of the first stream that unfortunately went away.
hmm
Just as a quick recap, introduce yourselves. So I am Lily Love Stuff on like most social media. Like I'm on YouTube, that's my YouTube channel. On Twitter, that's my Twitter account. I love Eurovision. I mean, yeah. You want to take it from there?
Yes. Yes, yes. All right. So, yeah, I am shortcake underscore ESC. You can call me shortcake. You can call me Jordan. Really, just anything you like. But shortcake underscore ESC is my independent YouTube channel. So, what's this channel that you're watching a stream from today? We are called Eurovision Fam. So, we are a relatively new publication in the Eurovision sphere. We're all from non-competitive countries. So, among our staff right now, it's a lot of people from the States. There's some folks up in Canada. There's someone in Peru. We're just kind of like all over the place, but none of our countries are competitive. So we are all coming from an outside perspective, looking into the world of Eurovision to well, what's exactly is the mission of the website? We want to invite conversations. So this was something that Alicia Michelle is currently spearheading. And one thing that she presented to us is that we're not exactly going to be breaking news. So we're not trying exactly to do the same thing as the other Eurovision sites. For us, it's a lot about just kind of inviting conversation and understanding how we can look at the contexts of this contest from just outer perspective. So basically, kind of what people like us would think. And in a little bit, I'll go ahead and introduce everyone from the site because we have like a very, I would say we have a really interesting, very, well, we have a very diverse, very different crew. So when it comes to that, I'm really excited to show you guys all of our new companions. But basically, what we were talking about in that last stream was the things we're most excited for in Torino. And just to kind of quickly go over what I said in that last stream, the thing that I'm excited for in Torino is kind of a Lisbon 2.0. Basically, I kind of want the like very artistic, very unique win of Måneskin this last year to have the same carryover as Salvador Sobral, so that the contestants in the 2022 contest in Torino kind of feel at liberty to take a massive risk and do something that only they could pull off. I'm excited to see how the contestants try to do something more unique as opposed to more safe. And that's going to be a topic of discussion regarding one particular country a little bit later on. But going into it, Sydney, what is something that you're looking forward to the most in Torino?
I'm just looking for like kind of what you said, where it's going to be more artistic and everything. I'm looking forward to this being a dawning of a new era in the contest. You can look through and see different competitions that have happened with Eurovision and how the previous winner dictates that we're moving forward and this is a new section of how the contest is going to be approached. It happened in 1966. It happened in, more recently 2009, 2012, 2018. Like these are all years where you can see a shift in the competition, and I really am looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, definitely. And yeah, I agree that 2018 was the most recent shift that we saw before Måneskin. But prior to that, the one like from Baku was like really strong. The one after Moscow was really strong. The one thing that we really love about this contest is that it's very time dynamic. So like as long as we move forward with these years, that every time we get a unique winner, then that provides a good enough groundwork for all the artists coming in to show like, yeah, we're going to make this year unique, and that's just going to be of our own personal volition. And that's something that's like very exciting. So May cannot come soon enough in that sense.
Oh yeah, not at all. Like I agree 100% with that. So kind of that's like an overview of what we had been discussing before we had ran into technical issues. So let's go ahead and get into the meat of the stream. So we're going to be talking about the articles on the site from recently. The first thing like first topic there is having a vaccine mandate at Eurovision 2020. Like, good idea, bad idea? What do you think about that, Jordan?
So I feel like the main kind of umbrella thing that I personally can say about this is whatever protects the most people is the best decision. So I'm fine with the vaccine mandate. I personally want to go to this Eurovision. I want to go and like be updated on all my shots. I want to like make sure I'm safe. But if it comes down to the decision of RAI or the Italian government that doing X, Y, or Z things could be unsafe, then I do trust that. Because we are still in the middle of a pandemic. It's going to be hard for any of us to be in kind of like a big crowded space, especially because not everyone is vaccinated. It so if we do have this vaccine mandate, it kind of further enforces like, yes, this is something that we're fully intending to do safely and to do efficiently. So I'm totally fine with the vaccine mandate personally. How about you?
Oh no, I'm again totally fine with a vaccine mandated as well. I went to a concert about 3 weeks ago. It was like my first concert after the pandemic, and to even get in, you had to have your proof of vaccination. Like at the door, we're getting our proof of vaccination done, and it was one of those things where I had meet and greet tickets too. So we had to have our vaccines done, and then to go talk to the artist, we had to have like our masks and everything on to keep everything, and we were all socially distancing still when we were, conversating with the talent. But like once we were out of that area, because everyone had to have their vaccine to get into the venue. Once we were kind of out of the room with the singer, we were allowed to take our masks off, and it was just like enjoyable atmosphere overall. It was like, okay, well, now I feel safe doing that because I know everyone here has been, vaccinated. And when it comes to this in particular, we don't want a repeat of what happened in with the Icelandic delegation, last year, where they couldn't perform on stage due to the fact that two of the members had, tested positive for COVID. And the best way we're going to avoid that, like, yes, you do have breakthrough cases, but with breakthrough cases, they're less frequent if everyone in the area is vaccinated. And it's a positive thing to do this. Like, we're talking about a major international competition. You've got people coming in from all over the place. I know when it comes to Junior Eurovision this year, they already have their contingency plan. If, there's a problem where someone does get sick, they're going to be playing the music videos. I don't want that. I want my Eurovision live and there and in person. And like, it's just one of those things where at this point, we're luckily getting out vaccinations faster. And the more people who have that shot, the less chances we have of there being a mutation and more variations. And we just want to keep everything as safe as possible. Like, medical science is great. Let's trust it.
Yeah, exactly. And it does provide a sense of comfort going into this next Eurovision year, knowing that, yes, people are amping it up. And not to mention, it's going to be like headed into the summer. People are going to be spending more time outside. It's good to kind of hang on to that like piece of optimism that, like by then we should be in a generally better situation. But in the case that we're not, then we do need to put trust in the delegation and or the involved Italian government, because they're going to, I'm sure if anything becomes an issue, we're going to find the concern from them first, and they'll be able to like first address it. But at the same time, I do want to hang on to just like, this is going to be a contest where we get all live performances, where people are able to show up, and it's because we approach things safely from the get-go.
Exactly. And I mean, like, it's one of those things where we've got vaccinations, we've got all this other good stuff. Let's use it. Like, that's the great thing, is like, you can always use your, and it's one of the, and like, if you're going in, and I hope the delegations going into the competition for national finals do have something in their contracts that do state, as an artist, you need to either be vaccinated, or if you're somebody with a medical condition where you actually cannot be vaccinated, that's all clarified. Because that's the other thing I want to make clear as well. Like, if you're somebody who has a legitimate reason, like your immune system can't handle a vaccination, or you've got an allergy to the ingredients of the vaccination, I still want you there. I'm not, I want you to be safe, and the fact that everyone around you would also be safe is going to help you in that situation.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, getting those things clarified from the outright, like it's only going to help us when by the time we get to those dates in May. Just having like that clarity from the beginning is going to let us go into the contest without any element of uncertainty regarding the pandemic, because it's all uncertainty. Like that's all we've been dealing with this virus. So the vaccine mandate, it's not so much an element of a concern as it is probably like the most comforting thing about going into this Eurovision, at least in my opinion.
Oh yeah, no, that's exactly how I feel as well. We need to have that there and be ready for that. But the next kind of topic we have is our hashtag FixItJesus and the prospects of the United Kingdom. Wow. Yeah,
United K.
That sounds like a new brand of cereal.
Yeah, it does. All right. So, do you want to go ahead and lead that part of the discussion then?
Yeah. So for this part of the discussion, we have the TAP management that's going to be taking over the British delegation's way of selecting the artist and the song. And there was an interview that Ben Mawson had done in an extended interview with the Eurotrip podcast. I'll go ahead and link the episode in the description box. And with that, there were some points that Ben Mawson had made that I agree with, and I think are really going to help the United Kingdom out when it comes to competition. First thing is, he made it clear it's not political. I think the UK public, the locals of the United Kingdom tend to go, oh, it's political, that's why we don't do well. Y'all, no one cares about what's going on with your situation domestically. Trust me. It's not political. It's quality of the song. And because he knows it's not political, he's looking to make sure the artist they select is someone who they can support fully. They don't know if it's going to be somebody who is established or if it's going to be someone who is new. But whatever it is, it's a play of building up the platform. And that's an excellent way of looking at Eurovision. As an artist, you have very few opportunities where you are performing for that many people worldwide. It's a live performance for 200 million people. That's insane. That's so many people. Yeah. And on top of that, you also have people who are going to be watching the replay back. You can look at if you do a good performance, that's going to be people coming through and sharing your song and sharing what you've done and everything else. He also stated that they're really looking for someone who can do a strong vocal, since this is going to be a live performance. And the biggest thing that he said that I was oh my gosh, thank you, is take it seriously. They want to take this contest seriously. And they want it to be a positive experience for the artist. And that's a huge thing, because with the UK, they're one of the countries that makes pop music. Think of all the music from the 60s moving forward that came from the United Kingdom, and we can look at it and go, oh yes. Or look at the artists they used to send in the 60s. I think it was in 1968, Lulu had one of the biggest hit songs in the US. Her song was number 2 on the Billboard end of the year chart. It's called To Sir With Love. And then she goes and does Eurovision the next year. You know what I mean? Or they send Cliff Richards or Sandy Shaw. These are all people who are massive stars, and they weren't afraid to do Eurovision because it was respected at the time. Now, imagine, I don't even know anyone who's I'm trying to think of a British person. But imagine someone who's a really big star in pop music from the UK going to Eurovision. It's laughable. It's the times that we've seen it, it was after their careers were over already. Engelbert Humperdinck. Yeah. I do love Lesbian Seagull, but come on, that was from the 90s. Gosh, I'm sorry. Every time I think about that song, it brings a smile to my face. But are these are people who had long careers, but at the point when they're going to Eurovision in the 2010s, you're where did you find this person at? What were they doing? They had nothing else to do, and it's you can send an established act like that if you want to, but it's not going to really get you anywhere.
No, because it's just like I don't know. I feel like okay, sorry. I'm gonna interrupt for a sec, but I just feel like the UK they have kind of like pieces of the puzzle. So it's just like I kind of feel like if they have a strong vocalist, then the songwriting is going to be like so like really subpar. Or I feel like if they really invest in staging, then the vocal. I don't know. I just feel like their full investment is never in any or all of the elements of putting on a good stage show, which is yeah, like when it translates into the context of Eurovision, we can't be doing this like safety nonsense or like we can't really be like leaning on like oh yeah we have these big artists because when it comes down to it like I don't know in Rotterdam we saw that staging and it was very tepid.
I hated the staging. Here's my thing when it comes to Embers. I love the song. I think it's a great song. And like even with the unnecessary covers they were doing at the like the pre-party shows, I liked the reworkings of Embers we got. Those were fun to me. Like there was like this bluesy throwbacky one. I love that. It was great. I like James Newman. He seems like he's really nice and friendly, and he seems like the kind of artist that like if you went to his house, he'd be like, "Yeah, I've got some ribs. Let's go grill." You know what I mean? Like he just seemed really cool, and like I love the artist. I love the song. That staging. Oh my gosh, like and you could have taken the ideas that were there, but like let's say you change your camera work a little bit. You could have simple staging, but you need to be dynamic with your camera. Like look at how France did their staging. It was just Barbara standing there with a microphone, but they were like, you know what? Let's go ahead and let's bring this camera out and get a little frantic with the camera work. Or like, let's look at, like, there are ideas that are there, and it's like, come on, like, let's just put a little more effort into this. Like, it's...
Yeah.
And, like, Embers isn't the kind of song you can just stand there and belt. It's not, you know, that sort of a tune. And,
no, not at all.
And then, like, I know I was especially disappointed because I had seen, like, the concept art they had for what they were going to do with One Last Breath, which looked interesting. And then 2 giant trumpets and a guy with straight backs. Come on. Like, I can't. Like, it was, oh gosh, it was bad. And I do love a horn line, but come on. That's not like, it's not like it's a soul song from, like, the 70s that you're doing, and that's why you've got a trombone player. It just,
it was minimally immersive. Minimally.
It was like, oh man, I'm just thinking like my school plays 10 years ago, we had better staging than that. Like, I don't know what else to say. So public high school. Sorry.
I mean, here I am not even disagreeing because I mean, like, at least then, like, the camera work and the staging felt like, or like, at least where the eyes were felt particular to the performance happening. I kind of just felt like the camera work for Embers, I kind of felt like the choreography, the background, the trombones, all of that could very easily have been implanted on a very similar or not so similar sounding song. It kind of felt like it came from like a stock folder in a way, very minimally like inspired, which is something I kind of struggled with watching that performance. It made everything else feel just a lot more tap water.
So it's like, it's one of those things where, I don't know, because it's like, I feel like with this change going to tap management, we're going to get an artist, we're going to get a song. I hope that whoever is handling this goes to the BBC and are like, nah, you're not going to set up our artist like that. Like, at this point, I'm looking at the BBC like, you guys have got to do something, because it's the staging that's the biggest problem for me at this point.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I mean, like with tap, they set such like a high bar, so they're like at the rock bottom, and they said like, oh yeah, Dua Lipa style management, and it's just like, girl, well, like this is like a pole vault of like an attempt that we're gonna be trying to make, but I mean like. It's good. It's good to see that, like, even with that, no matter, like, how that might actually turn out, they're moving in a direction that just sounds generally better. That's just more comforting to me.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's, like, something other than what we're getting, because what we're getting right now is... Let's go back. Like, I'm trying to think the last time I saw a British staging that I loved, and that would have to be, like, what was that year? Lucy Jones? that year
Yeah.
with that giant metal, not that giant mirror behind her. Fantastic staging.
Like gold clam.
Like Venus, or the birth of Venus, but like make it modern and
Yeah.
gold. Yeah, like no, that was fantastic. Or like, and then you look at other
Beautiful.
stagings, and it's just like you could have taken the staging they chose for Embers and apply it to That Sounds Good to Me from like what was that 2010?
You could apply it to Storm, frankly.
You could
Like
put it
a lot
anywhere,
of stages
or
are very, like,
instead of trumpets, make it clouds. I don't know.
yeah, it's like y'all pulled from the folder, y'all pulled from the hat,
Yes, it's very.
and it's
It was
we
very.
cannot continue to do that.
Yeah, it was very middle school jazz band. Um,
Yes, it was.
I feel mean,
Oh.
but at the same time, we have to like. I want the UK to do well. I want every single country to do well. I want to go into Eurovision and be blown away and like not know who's gonna win. Like I want,
Yeah.
or like another year I can think of where there were songs I didn't like. Back to 2018, that first semifinal of 2018 to me is stronger than the final of the contest because I literally there's songs I did not like going into 2018, but that first semifinal was such a bloodbath that everyone upped the ante that I can make a case for every single one of those songs why they should have qualified. Except for one. I'm not going to say which one I'm like, two, but everyone else kind of upped it to the point where it's like I had no idea who was going to qualify. And even if I would have lost a favorite, I would have been okay with it at that point. Like, that's what I want from the contest. And I want the UK to do well, and I'm rooting for them. Like, they're the UK. Like, yeah, like, 200 years ago, we were like, nah, I don't want you over here anymore. But no, I love the UK now, and I want them to be their best. So, yeah.
Yeah. And from here, it sounds like they're gonna perform better than their previous best. So that's a really big promise, but we're gonna look at it from a good perspective. We're gonna look at this like, yes, you found it, you figured it out.
If
we kind of have no choice but to look at it like that.
if the UK
Because I mean, like, hey, it's that.
if they could do what they did in 2009 with like just hitting it with a top 5 finish, I would be so happy. Like 2009 was my first contest. I had no idea the reputation the UK had prior to that. And then I come in and I'm like, wow, wait, what? Is that Andrew Lloyd Webber playing the piano? What's happening? That was a little confusion. Because, as you can tell, I love musical theater. I've brought up High School Musical productions already. So, yeah, no, like, I want them to do well. And I'm hoping that these changes are going to fix the problems that they have. And that the UK can take it seriously. And, yeah, like, that we know that a delegation can turn it around. Like,
Yes.
let's look at France. Let's look at the Czech Republic. Like, those two delegations in particular went from, like, low to soaring heights. It was just, yeah, those two those, Switzerland. Like, you can turn around a bad the Netherlands. Like, look at how they were doing 10 years ago. Like, you can turn around this. You just have to take it seriously and actually try. And the good thing is that with TAP, we have them trying. Now, at this point, my fears are all with the BBC and what they're going to do with the staging. And that's all I have left to say about that. Yeah.
No, I mean, like, that pretty much speaks, like, all like the further points I want to make on that, because yeah, like it is a lofty pursuit in order to completely change the delegation in a way that makes it competitive, in a way that makes it like everything observable, listenable, good. Like that's a really big undertaking, but it needs to happen, and they're more or less promising that that's happening. So we're like, okay, like show us the big guns. We're excited for it. And frankly, I am really excited to see, especially how TAP puts a spin on things.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like we had said before, would these changes have happened if Maneskin wasn't doing so well in the charts? Would these changes be happening if Maneskin, wasn't selling out concerts in 5 minutes? Like, you know what I mean? Like, would this be happening? Probably not. Thank you, Maneskin. Hopefully that you'll inspire the UK further. So kind of moving away from the United Kingdom, we're going to talk a little bit about some things happening more recently or more soon. Tomorrow, Eesti Laul starts up, and it's super early this year. I know usually we would get the songs in November and then nothing for like months. This year they've changed it up a little bit. Do you want to talk about how they've changed it up?
Yeah, so aside from it starting on November 20th, we're going to be watching music videos instead of live performances. And yeah, that's going to be happening tomorrow. This entire process, okay, like I'm more or less still trying to like understand this approach because music videos. We have a series of music videos. And how many is it? It's like 10, I believe, right?
Yeah, it's 10 tomorrow. That will be in the first quarterfinal.
Okay, so 10 music videos in a quarterfinal. How, like, we are the Eurovision community.